Professor Ashwini Mohapatra, my own view, and is quite clear. We must not rationalize terrorists. We must not justify pirates, and we must not glamorize or romanticize suicide bombers. In this case, a certain part of the world is in a platonic relationship with terrorism. They almost make terrorists look like confused teddy bears, which they are not. In this case, we are dealing with the Houthis. We are dealing with the problem of global piracy. We are dealing, for example, with Houthis shooting down, U.S. reapers. We are seeing the Houthis being used for holding ships going through the Persian Gulf to ransom. We're dealing with a global situation here. So therefore, my question to you is, where should we stand? Professor Nalapat says, Professor Mohapatra, this is a pure case of terrorism. That's the only way we should look at it. Your take.
Yes, true. I agree with him. See, terrorism as an instrument of foreign policy has been adopted by the autocratic regimes, not today, for the last at least 30 years. And if you recall, the first visit of Prime Minister Modi to UAE, followed by Saudi Arabia, and one of the objectives of his visit that time was to eliminate the ideological roots of terrorism. And to great extent, 10 years later, he was successful in accomplishing it. So the ideological roots, at least so far India's challenge of terrorism is concerned. But the ideological roots of terrorism do exist in West Asia today. And that way it has been used by some of the autocratic regime and the clerical regime in this area has in fact complicated the geopolitics. And Israel happens to be the only victim, I won't say the only victim, the singularly, the victim, I tell you, the way it has suffered in the hands of these terrorists, whether it is Hamas or Hezbollah or the Houthis, the three infamous H, which has been patronized, created, nurtured, sustained by Iran with this single most objective of legitimizing its internal regime, clerical regime since 1979. Because if you look at Iran, it's far away from Israel. There is a triumph, there is a bonhomie between Iran and the Shah on the one side and Israel on the other. And it was facing the so-called pan-Arabism centered on Cairo. Now the things begin to change on the basis of the Islamic Revolution 1979. And suddenly Iran tried to project itself as the leader in the Islamic world. And so this Israel became the centerpiece of the entire agenda of the Iranian revolutionary philosophy. So what needs to be understood by the people is why Iran has been supporting these groups, so-called unquote non-state actors. Basically, the basis of support is nothing but Islamism. Islamism is nothing but a kind of political ideology, which has less to do with the religion per se, more to do with the political objectives. And Iran has been trying hard to an extent. The Turkish President Erdogan also tried to do it, but in vain, to project in the Islamic world as the leader and the so-called psychological level, the concept of Islamic Ummah exists even today. So no wonder when this man was eliminated recently, and you look at these the resonance in the Muslim world, including in Kashmir Valley. So what I'm trying to tell you is the kind of emotional things that it carries. This kind of terrorism propelled by Islamism as an ideology, supported by a relatively powerful country in the region, West Asia, that is Iran, has created a situation which is going to really pose a challenge to all other countries, including Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and many other countries, including Egypt. They have not been supporting Iran. They will never support Iran, even if they have some kind of moral support for the creation of a Palestinian state. So the whole thing has complicated West Asia to the extent, often I'm reminded of the famous statement by Karl Brown, who says the West Asia politics so much interrelated, everything related to everything. And Iranian authority, particularly Ayatollah Khamenei, needs to learn from this, that no single political actor would ever establish its will whether external or regional power in West Asia, because this is a region quite complex. And sooner the Iranian authority give up this kind of ambition
yes.
to become the regional hegemon, and at the cost of the security of Iran, and by supporting these Islamist groups, then I'm quite sure the peace and stability will restore in West Asia.